think we might be there, but this is going to be delayed, so we're probably
This
on.
is going to be delayed, so let's go.
Right
We might be on right now.
Hang on just a second, guys. We're still working out the
Still
kinks
figuring
here.
this out.
We're almost
and
ready.
This is
Come
different,
on.
isn't it? Yeah.
Events. All right, we are live.
Hey, guys.
Hey, everyone. It's James and Stef.
And we're here with Russ Garfin, product
everybody.
manager from Winnebago.
All right.
Yes.
So, Russ, we're here at the RVIA show 2017 in Louisville.
Yeah.
Now, this is not a consumer event, so we're not selling RVs to people here.
No, it's strictly a wholesale event. It's for dealers. It's also for manufacturers and suppliers to kind of get together once a year on a formal basis. It's put on by our
manager from
trade
Winnebago.
show association.
Okay.
And so we have vendors and suppliers will launch new products here.
This is going to be delayed, so
if we haven't
let's
seen
go.
them, we have a lot of
We
those
might
kind
be
of
on
meetings.
right now.
Hang
we
on
also
just a
have
second, guys. We're still
dealers coming in from all over the country, and usually they'll bring a few of their top sales guys or sales managers along to help, and they'll look at new products and determine which ones they want to add to their portfolio. Sometimes if we have a new product, then we'll be signing new dealers to carry that product here.
So like the Revel, I guess, would be an example.
Yeah,
of
the
that.
Revel. Yeah, we launched that a little bit earlier at our open house.
right, but this is kind of a chance for the dealers to
But
come
we
back
have,
together.
yeah, we
and-
certainly have dealers coming in asking if they can carry the Revel.
Right.
So that's going on, and then of course we're trying to get our dealers to make sure that they have the proper stocking going into the spring months, because it takes a while to get into the production process. So our district sales managers are working with every dealership to make sure that they have the right products on order.
It says people are hearing an echo, so
You're getting an echo. Sorry, guys. We'll keep trying to work
let
on
me
it.
say this is new for us.
Yes.
So
All right, so what we did is we polled a bunch of the owners groups and we asked about what are some topics you'd like to hear us discuss with Russ. And so we've put together a bunch of chat topics that we're going to talk to you about.
Sure.
And if y'all want to chat and ask us some questions, we'll try to get to them at the end. But at first, we want to go with the owners.
oh my gosh, look, shout out from France.
France.
Oh,
Right on, hey.
Hello.
All right, so Steph, let's start off with these questions from
Okay.
actual owners.
Yes.
Well, and it's kind of cold outside, so I wanted to start with winter camping, because we
Yeah.
do a lot of winter camping, and we've
Yeah.
noticed that there's a growing interest in wintertime, or at least colder weather RVing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, we've noticed too that you've started to make changes in a number of your rigs to better accommodate this. Like
Yeah.
you brought the water lines inside on the Travato, and the Revel is a
Right.
whole other story with winter
Yeah.
camping. So I guess the question is, are there any more plans to accommodate what seems to be this growing demand?
Well, it's definitely a trend, and
Yes.
it is a growing demand, and it's especially prevalent, in our compact coaches, our Class Bs, our Views and Navions, and other coaches like that. And it's all driven by, I think, just that active user. That's heck, I'm not ready to put my RV away just because
heck
it's
no.
getting cold out,
Right.
And that's a sad moment for everybody when you have to put your RV into storage. But so that's a big thing. Our large coaches, like our diesel pushers over here behind us, those are pretty well set, because they have the full basement and they have the diesel fired heater and everything, so you can use those pretty good year round. But the smaller coaches, the smaller the coaches get, the less room there is for everything inside the coach, and so once in a while, you'll have water lines outside the coach or something just to make the plumbing work. But that being said, yeah, certainly, you've seen the evolution in the Travato, which you guys have, where we brought the water lines inside, and
I'm taking full credit for that.
yeah, we
by
do
the
call. We do call that. Pretty much have to give you credit for that. Yeah, that was we were mostly forced to do that.
James did that on our Travato.
Well, no, they did it,
Well,
but we
had that done.
requested it.
demanded it.
That's
Yes,
true.
yes.
James demanded.
Yeah. No, it made good sense, and it was easy to do.
Yes.
And so now when we go forward with new designs and new floor plans,
I've noticed that. That seems to be when you make the change, is when you
Yeah.
do like a floor plan redesign
Yeah.
or set
Yeah.
out a new floor plan.
You pretty much have to start from the beginning to get that all done. It's difficult to just reroute everything after it's all been
Right.
designed with cabinets and everything.
Okay,
Off
so
topic, I just wanted to let you know we have viewers from Puerto Rico, Louisiana, Minnesota
Wow.
doing shout outs. So
Awesome.
hi, y'all. Thanks
That's
for
fun.
being
and we have
here.
someone who's already put their RV away. So
Oh, sad.
That is-
sad
that is a
face
sad
there.
thing.
I like that. Yeah.
all right. So I guess the short answer to that is look for improved winter camping abilities?
Absolutely,
coming?
especially
Still
in the compact
evolving.
coaches. Yeah, we're doing things, and we're doing a lot of things. Like you'll see on the Revel with the new diesel-fired heater and the heated holding tanks and the new installation process, where we're using some pretty sophisticated automotive-style installation in there that seems to be working very well, and we have great.
I can't wait to take one out and go skiing.
Yeah, hopefully we can make that happen this year.
That
Right
would be a
on.
blast.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, let's move on.
I'm totally going to take this next question because
Okay.
it's kind of my wheelhouse, but a lot of people are asking, so I got to ask you, lithium batteries, second alternator, the
Yep.
big inverter,
Yep.
very hot topic right now,
Yeah.
and I know you probably can't commit to any dates or a firm release
yeah,
or anything.
I can't confirm or deny anything.
But what can you share about
Yeah.
your plans in that area?
Well, I can share that we certainly appreciate what customers are looking for in there. They're looking for a coach that's more comfortable without the noise that you have from a generator and things like that, and being able to run the air conditioner for certain periods of time if you could. The things that are happening in our industry, especially in the Class Bs, where it seems to be getting the most impact.
Which is interesting.
Yeah,
'Cause you got more room in a Class A. It seems like it'd be easier to pull off there.
But then you're right next to the generator and the air conditioner, so those things are a little bit more obnoxious in a small coach. So,
Yes.
yeah, it certainly makes really good sense. The idea is fantastic. So kudos to the folks that have kind of pioneered that. We've been watching that, and we know, and one of our concerns has been the little bit of the complexity issues that people have and understanding how to operate it, and also getting service around the country, which is a topic that
We'll be talking about that.
We're getting the service.
Yeah, but so all of those things, when you add a really complicated, very sophisticated and high-powered lithium system in there, there's safety issues as well. We, being Winnebago, we're going to want to make sure that that's done the way we think it needs to be done, to make sure that our customers, we don't add another pain point for customers down the road where they're trying to work with those things. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're definitely looking at that, and stay tuned.
All right, stay tuned. That's the
We'll
official
take
word.
it. We'll take it. All right, moving on.
Let's go.
Okay, so how about let's talk about the warranty, because that's come up a bunch on the owners group.
Yeah.
So Winnebago offers the 1-year warranty on their coaches. And if you're like us, and
I tore our rig apart like kind of the first week I had it, so our warranty was sort of an afterthought.
Yeah.
We don't even know what's in your coach
It's not
anymore.
a big deal. For us, the 1-year warranty is not a big deal, but other manufacturers offer longer warranties.
Yeah.
So can you explain the thinking and
There's
position?
there's been ebbs and flows with warranties, in the RV industries. Sometimes people will expand a warranty, and usually when people expand a warranty, it's for a reason. They have something that they're trying to overcome with their customers for some reason.
An objection.
An objection. So what's going on that caused that? We are definitely interested in making sure that our customers have a fantastic experience with their coach for the life of their coach, not just during the warranty period. We think we have a pretty generous goodwill policy. So when we've done something that's clearly wrong, we want to make it right, whether you're in warranty or not warranty. Other things that when we talk about the warranties, I think that are important to understand is that they're very complex pieces of paper that typically you're creating. With the longer you go, the more complex that gets for customers. So I know I don't have everybody's all of our competitors' warranties, but I know in the past, looking at some of those, you'll find that they're just warranting the things that they manufacture.
Oh, okay. So I guess the explanation here is that the RV itself is a collection of subcomponents, like a refrigerator, which has its own independent warranty, and a stereo system, which has a warranty, and an air conditioner,
even the chassis.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they're not getting those extended warranties typically for if they had a 5-year warranty or a 7-year warranty, they're not getting that Panasonic or Happy Chef to go in and give them a special warranty. So that's something that the customer is going to deal with down the road when they're trying to get service on those individual components. So that adds some complexity to that process. That being said, we as a company through our owner relation or customer service department, it's possible to purchase a third-party extended warranty for 7 years. Also, almost all dealers offer extended warranty policies.
Okay.
And those policies are a little bit different than a manufacturer's policy, and one of the good parts about those is they do cover all of those components, whether it be it's kind of like an extended warranty when you buy your TV and all that. So all those components, they're listed what they cover and don't cover, and so they give people that opportunity.
So the extended warranty is kind of the one throat to choke sort of warranty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, those are possible, and we're constantly looking at that, whether we should extend our warranty or not, and we have a lot of things that we're working on right now, and that's just one part of trying to improve our customer experience. So
So it's possible it could change.
It could change in the future, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I guess now that we've talked warranties, we want to jump ahead to this one.
Okay.
Kind of so let's talk quality control. And this is probably something that's always a work in progress. Everyone always wants to get better.
Yes.
Yep.
So can you describe what you're doing today as far as quality control? And
then I want to talk about the plans for the future, too. So talk today, but then...
Sure. I mean, RVs are complicated pieces of equipment. They're, you have everything that goes, well, actually it's probably more complicated in your house and more complicated in your car, and you mush all that together.
Yep.
And, people are using them in some pretty severe, situations where, just think of the temperature variation in a motorhome. It could be,
minus 30 one week and 100 the next.
Yeah, where you're going and all the things. There's a lot of complexity in there, and I'm not trying to build excuses in for our industry,
right.
but there, it does mean that there are going to be things that have to be worked on, and service has to be done. Also, I think most people are aware that our industry is just booming.
Yes.
And so whether the manufacturers are building, they have to increase capacity, trying to build more product, trying to hire more people, and all of that puts a little bit of stress on the quality system, and that's certainly no excuse. And for providing customers a trouble-free product, which is something we definitely want to have as a very high priority at Winnebago. We're doing a lot of things inside the company right now. I was in meetings just last week with our new director of owner experience, and that's a separate department from our service department. So I mean, his role is really from the beginning to the end of the experience, all of the touch points where customers are contacting Winnebago or involved with Winnebago, whether it be for purchase or service or whatever, improving that experience and making sure that we're at the top of the list.
Okay.
Again, I like this topic. I think it's important.
Yes.
Winnebago has really built its name and its reputation on providing a better quality product and providing better service after the sale than the rest of our industry.
Yeah.
And we own that space. We also know that there's a lot of room, a lot of opportunity to get a lot better, and a lot of need to get better in a quick way. And there's a lot of activity at Winnebago right now to
well, I know even the plant manager at the Class Bs, he's very focused. I mean, the couple times I've met.
Oh yeah,
him.
they're tracking things in new ways, and we've got new feedback loops. We're following in new ways. We're following product launches that we never did before, where every individual issue that would come up in the whole delivery process and things like that will get attention sooner than they would in the past, where in the past we have had to wait until we saw warranty data come in. Well, that's too late,
Yeah, by then who knows how many people.
So we're doing
new
new things like that, and I think some of it. I mean, there may be some Revel owners or wannabes on this call today, but I mean, well, that's a great thing. I mean, part of the experience of that launch is that we had a little bit of a delay in the launch. That we're back building full time, but through the first usage, we discovered a couple things, relatively small things, to get after. But with our new attitude about service, we realized we don't want to ship anything like that to our customers. So we immediately put a stop to that. There's new production processes where we never had before on our assembly line, where we actually have stop buttons. So rather than waiting,
like anyone can hit it.
Yeah. You can stop the production line, which we didn't have before, and so those things are all new for us. They're very important, and they just show the focus that we have on quality and making sure that things are leaving our factory. Because when our products leave the factory, in a better condition. That means that when they arrive at the dealer has to spend less time, fixing something like that. A customer certainly doesn't have to have any downtime and can enjoy that experience. And when we can do that, certainly, we'll win.
Okay, since you just mentioned from the RVs leaving the factory and getting to the dealers, so here's an interesting one. Can you describe the process of getting the completed RVs to the dealers? They're driven, or are they trucked? Or?
Well, the delivery process is all driven. So coaches are driven. We actually
it leaves the factory. It leaves
the factory,
City, Iowa.
and then it actually we actually drive it to the.
Who drives it?
Winnebago.
Okay.
Yeah, we drive it to the delivery company, which happens to be right across the street in Forest City.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think there's actually a tunnel that goes under the road, so they don't even go out on the road. They take it through the tunnel under the road.
Are you kidding?
Well, then officially it's their responsibility once it goes across into their property.
Okay. So
and basically turn over the keys. Now you guys are responsible for it.
Okay.
So that's a professional company that we hire, and we have a contract with them, and they get paid to deliver every coach, and they get paid based on the type of coach, a certain per mile fee to deliver that. They hire and train, professional drivers, and we have a lot of retired folks and even RV owners and wannabes that do that for
kind
fun.
Of a fun job.
Yeah, they get to deliver coaches, and couples will do that. And two couples, husband and wife, will deliver the coaches.
Now, can they use the restroom?
Absolutely not. No.
So what are the rules?
The rules are cut and dried. They would lose their job for smoking in the coach, eating in the coach, using the bathroom, anything like that. Those things are all completely forbidden, and not allowed to sleep in the coach, etc. No sleeping in the coach.
So they're stopping at hotels or something.
Yeah, they'll stop in a hotel. Yep, typically stop in a hotel. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So something not unique to Winnebago, but we
heard this from multiple
we
user
solicited
groups.
input, and there was a lot of frustration with the warranty work.
Okay.
Like getting service done at dealers. Particularly, I think people were
the
annoyed.
Long waits of service.
Okay. Well,
so not to put you on the spot or anything.
I'm going to go all morally safer on
it's
you.
Fair. It's a fair question, and it's a valid question, and the industry is evolving, very rapidly. There's a lot of customers, a lot of information on the internet. Just kind of like this process here. There's a lot of people that we'll talk to each other, but where did I get this motor? Where should I buy this motorhome? Shopping for the best price, comparing one dealer. Where that process was a little bit harder and to do in the past. It's possible now that customers are buying a coach,
sight unseen halfway across the country.
Maybe they didn't buy it from their local dealer. That's the first thing I always tell people. I encourage them to buy from their local dealer, if at all possible, and even if they're going to pay a little bit more. It's still a good deal, because like we talked about, it's a complicated product, and have that relationship with basically a neighborhood store is very important. That being said, our dealers are not franchise dealerships.
Okay.
So they're kind of
independent.
They're independent. They can we don't have like the thumb that we can put on for each thing that we can control. But we do a lot of things to encourage all dealers to provide transient service. So that's in process. So when you're traveling, we want to make sure that dealers can take care of the customers. So we have a reward program where we reward our dealers that take care of transient customers.
Okay.
We also do things like we make sure that for warranty and service parts for those dealers, we actually pay the dealer a pretty good rate for those parts, so they're actually not having to be out. If they had to sell the part to you and put it in for service at their cost, they wouldn't make any money on it.
Oh.
It
cut them a break on warranty.
Right.
Part.
Yeah. So we do all of that and we have service DMs, which is unique in our industry. We've got 6 guys that live in different areas around the country that just work with service departments at dealerships. So if they have questions, if they have concerns, if they have special problems, the service DM can be there at the dealership to help out with that. And that's in addition to certainly the phone in and all that service that we have back at Winnebago. Yeah. Again, and I understand the question. It's difficult to get service. A lot of that is driven by the growth that's happened in our industry. from 2008 when we were down to, what was it, like 8 or 12,000 units for the whole industry. Now we're back up to, 60,000 motorhomes and 250,000 trailers, something like that. Yeah. It's a lot. So, and the dealerships, are expanding to come back to that level where they can take care of their customers. They are
industry-wide capacity
problems. I do see wherever I'm visiting the dealers a lot these days, and almost everywhere I go, we'll see the dealers are adding on service bays, and you'll see that. One of the dealers we were talking to earlier this week is adding on 30 service bays.
Good.
So that's a huge investment. I know the dealership in our community added a bunch of service bays. And so we're seeing that around the country. Dealers see it, we see it, and we're trying to get a lot better at it.
And you said there were some laws too that kind of limited.
Oh, well, yeah. One of the questions was, why can't we just have like a local somebody else service my coach or something like that, right?
Right.
Yes.
And if the dealer's too busy, can I get somebody else to do it? And well, the answer to that is kind of a yes and no. Each state has different laws regarding warranty work, and those are all kind of developed over 100 years from the car dealerships. And so, I know in different communities, especially small towns, a lot of times the car dealership is the most powerful, business in the community, and whoever's running that car dealership is either running for politics or is helping to support that politician. So there's some interesting laws that get put in place around the country to support car dealerships, and one of them is that in some states you can't do warranty work on a car or an RV, which falls in the same category, unless you actually are licensed to sell that product at that dealership.
And selling Winnebago products, it's not like you're a Winnebago dealer and you sell all the Winnebago products, right? I mean, you might sell just the Bs.
You might just have certain lines that you don't have everything, so you can't service everything. They can service everything, I should say. I could clarify that. They just can't do the warranty work on everything.
Okay.
So,
and this is new to me. I didn't realize.
Yeah, and that's a small issue, not really kind of.
Okay.
I mean, it's not everywhere, but it's just one of the things that you don't see is behind the scenes.
Yeah, people wouldn't know that necessarily, and so that's.
I want to say just a couple more things about that before we lose track of that. But we have for the first 12 months we have 24-hour roadside assistance.
Okay.
And if you call that company, or if you have a Camping World, you can go through Good Sam and get that 24-hour roadside assistance. Now those people can, depending if you have a problem that's left you stranded somewhere or unable to use your motorhome, call those guys. They're there for a reason, and they're 24 hours, and they can help you find. And sometimes they will dispatch, a service technician that they work with. They understand our products. They have access to all of our manuals and everything, 24 hours a day. They have experience. They can set you up with some help. And that you kind of paid for that service when you purchased your Winnebago. So use it. Call those.
We
numbers.
never used ours.
Yeah. It's either it's CoachNet if you purchase through a Winnebago dealer,
that's what we got.
right? And it's Good Sam if you purchase through a Camping World dealer. And they both provide a very similar service.
Peace of mind is
and it's important.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see.
Talk about new floor
plans. Okay.
So this was a question especially that came up on the Paseo owners group. They were because other vans like the Travados and the Eras, they have more than one floor plan.
Yeah, it's not fair.
But it's not fair.
It's not fair to the
So
Paseos.
is there any new floor plans for the Paseo or any of your models that you can tell us?
And I get and maybe just even more generally, what's your process for coming up with a new floor plan? I mean, because there's there's vehicle constraints, there's other constraints you've got.
Yeah.
How does that whole process work? Do you have an idea and then start trying?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that we will get started. I can speak about the Paseo probably a little bit first.
Okay.
That built on the Ford Transit chassis, and we're just kind of getting going with the Ford Transit chassis. There are some things that make it a little bit difficult to build a floor plan on that, both from the width.
Like what? Okay, so width.
Yeah, the width, the length between the cab and the back doors, what you have available, where the axles go across the back, because that affects the plumbing.
Okay.
And how much structure is, because you have
that
to
driver's seat doesn't rotate.
And the big one on that one is the driver's seat doesn't rotate, so then that affects floor plans, because a lot of our floor plans involve bringing that cab into the coach, so that makes it a little bit more difficult to work on. So what we came up with we wanted to use that chassis. We're excited about the Ford Transit chassis. It provides some unique advantages.
It's a rocket.
Yeah, it's a rocket ship. It's fast, but that's a great Ford Sync system that's in there. and the Ford service network and everything else that goes along with it. Pretty cool, pretty well received chassis. So we want to build on. So that was the kind of our first with that swivel seat that wouldn't swivel. That we thought that was probably one of the best floor plans we could do.
It's kind of dead space behind that driver's seat.
Yeah, we have we have just recently launched the modified version of the rear dinette area, where allow people to sleep lengthways now in that space. So if you're a little bit taller than 6 foot, you can sleep comfortably up to about 6'5" now in that coach. So that's an improvement.
Nice.
That changed that floor plan. But it's possible, certainly possible, that we would have a second floor plan coming. There's some things in the work that could apply to that, but I really can't talk about new floor plans.
Okay.
But there's so many things going into a floor plan that really become, especially in a van. It's almost like when we're building a regular Class A motorhome or a Class C motorhome,
it's wide open.
We basically build a plywood box the size we want, and then we figure out how we want to build in there. We still have the constraints about where the axles are for the plumbing, and and how much flow we're going to have for the drain lines and all those kind of things that you work around, and also weight distribution is a huge thing that Winnebago works on. But the vans are a lot more complicated.
Yeah, you got curved walls.
Yeah,
you got ribs. In the walls.
If you thought you could, on paper, you say let's put a window here, or let's put the toilet here.
Then no, you can't.
So we buy. We call them body in white, but we buy body in white from the chassis manufacturers. Yeah. So if it's a Sprinter, they'll send us an empty shell of a van without any wheels or seats or steering wheel in it.
And then you start messing with that.
So
we
that's
mess
like
with
your
that.
model.
Yeah, and we'll cut holes in it where we put the windows in and do all that. And that's where we actually build. We take the plywood in there and we build our mock-ups inside that because it's a lot easier.
It's a lot cheaper than having to buy a van.
Well, yeah, and then we reuse it, and we'll kind of sheet metal over the places where we did to reuse it for the next one. But we have that for each of our platforms. Yeah,
I did not know that. But now, even apart from the constraints that are particular to the van, like there's some RVIA codes I know that come into play that limit what you can do.
Right.
Like,
when we were in Dusseldorf with you this summer at the show, we were in a camper van and we were looking at a really cool shower.
It was in the middle of the coach.
In the middle of the coach, and James and I, this shower is awesome. And you said right away, nope. RVIA would never let us do this.
It's a plumbing code, and and that's one of the things that people, it's hard for you look at those. Oh, that's really cool. Why can't Winnebago do that floor plan, or one of our U.S. manufacturers do that exact same floor plan? But there's things like the threshold that has to be. I don't have the exact measurements, but there's
a certain number of inches.
Yeah, somewhere around 3 inches of depth of a shower pan, so that to prevent overflow, from the drain into the rest of the coach. Yeah. That's one of the codes. You have a certain amount of slope, in the pan towards the drain is also part of that, and a certain kind of plastic and et cetera that has to be for plumbing codes that has to be met. That what you'll see in Europe is different. They have different laws, and some of their laws are, we'll look at them and scratch our head. And I talked to quite a few of those guys as well, and they do the same. When they look at some of the things that we have, because they just they evolve, and like a lot of ours come out of residential. There's no law, so which law applies? Well, it's the residential law or something like that.
Well, and I think that's something consumers aren't really aware of, that you're working off of these RVIA codes.
Sure.
And so that's very limiting to what floor plans that you pick.
Yeah, it's limiting, but also it helps us make sure that the thing is safe.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
so they're
we're
very
not saying there's not a purpose to the code.
There
is a purpose.
Right, but some people will say, like, why isn't there a Travato G floor plan in the Paseo?
Right.
But there are RVIA code reasons.
It might not fit in there. It might not work in there. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of those things. Another one people ask about all the time is, Mom, why can't you open up those back windows? I'd like to have those windows opened up.
That's that.
Yeah,
I can imagine
back doors,
that one.
But that's a code also that we're not allowed to do, because in the past there have been cases where RVs have had the back windows open and
sucked exhaust in,
and that's not a good thing.
That's no good.
So that's a RVIA said for the safety of RV owners, and
never again.
We're not going to allow that to happen. So that's an RVIA, pretty strict RVIA code. We have RVIA inspectors that come into our factory, quite regularly, as well as chassis manufacturers send in their inspectors into our factory to go through and look at how we're doing things, and kind of give us a bad mark or something if we don't have something right, and you don't want to get those bad marks.
The Mercedes seal of approval.
Yeah, so we are one of the approved upfitters for Mercedes, and we're kind of on there. You can go on their website and see which manufacturers are approved as upfitters for Mercedes, and that's a process. Same thing with the Ford QVM program. We are approved for all of those, and we take that part of our business seriously.
And they can be pretty strict with their rules that you have to follow.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have a pretty good relationship. We try real hard to have a good relationship with our chassis suppliers. Especially in the motorized business, it's very important to have the right products from them and have the be able to build on them the way that we want to build on them. So it's a two-way street. We also have to kind of watch what they're saying and try to pay attention to their rules and make sure that we're building them to their standards. For example, they may have standards for center of gravity in the coach.
Oh, it has to be in front of
so many inches high off the ground is this is the range you can have for the center of gravity, and higher than that, then you're outside of their specifications, and that could affect the way the brakes work, or the analog brakes, or the computer program to prevent rollovers and things like that they have in the system. So it's very important that you stay under that. Also, we on all four wheels, we weigh all of our coaches on all four wheels to make sure that we're not overloading the tires or overloading the front axle or the rear axle, and having the right distribution of weight. Right to left, the balance. Even though we meet each tire and axle, we still also have to meet right to left balance. So that's some of the things that.
So you couldn't put the water tank and the black tank and the gray tank and the generator all on one side of the vehicle.
No,
that wouldn't work.
Not just we like to do that. They won't let me, because that would make a pretty cool floor plan.
It'd be a pretty tippy.
Yeah. So, but.
I was just going to ask about the upgrades that you do to your current models. So they don't seem to be on a yearly basis when you're doing an upgrade. It's just kind of
it's a rolling process.
It varies on the product line, but it's really a continuous improvement. So we used to have a very strict model year where we would roll out all of our new models at the same time each year. Well, when you're building 85 different floor plans or something, somewhere around there is what Winnebago does.
It's pretty disruptive, I would imagine.
It's very disruptive. And so what we would have like 2 or 3 months where we're hardly shipping anything to our dealers, and then we would have all of this manufacturers have to learn everything, all the new products all at the same time. So back to that quality question, not a very good thing. Much better to spread out the improvements, stagger them throughout the year. Obviously, we don't want to change everything every day, so we're trying to standardize and keep those changes to little groupings, but it became really hard to tie them to a model year all the time.
Okay.
So that's where that's.
So where do you draw the line and say, now we're calling this a 2018? Is it just kind of when you think you've got a critical mass of changes, then you just say, all right, we're calling this a 2018, or?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into that. So and we don't really have a set plan. It has a lot to do with the amount of new products that are coming out. Also with our whole production plan and the whole process for either inventory and all of those things. But yeah, it can vary as well.
So it's fluid, but it's I guess generally because you're trying to get new stuff in quicker and it's less disruptive.
It's not always tied to feature changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's see.
Well, there was Jeff from the Travato Group had an interesting question that I thought we should cover, and it's why do the camper vans cost as much or even more than some of the Class C's? Like the Travato.
Yeah. And the Trend, they're built in the same chassis, but in the price per square foot, the Travato is considerably more than the Trend.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you talk to that?
Well, a lot of that goes in my pocket. So.
There you go, Jeff. There's your answer.
That's the answer. That helicopter we saw yesterday,
that's
Russ's.
I gotta go. Yeah, I hear it up on the roof. No, it's pretty simple. The chassis that we purchase when we buy it for a motorhome is a cab chassis, and its pricing is it's not complete. It's an incomplete vehicle. The pricing from the chassis manufacturer is more like manufacturer to manufacturer, so that the pricing is better for us to purchase those. When we purchase a van, it's much closer to what retail pricing is for those vans, and they have the full body and they're pretty much a complete vehicle. And the pricing is always a lot higher than the cab chassis. So a ProMaster van versus a ProMaster cab chassis. Pretty significant difference in price, and it starts from there. After that, actually, it's a lot harder to build a van than it is.
You got to bring everything in through the doors.
Yeah, and there's only room for 1 or 2 people inside the coach. So versus where you have the walls. In a lot of cases, we have slide rooms. We might not, people can get things in and out. But in a van, it's all in there, and everything that goes into a Trend goes into a Travato. You still have the air conditioner, the generator, and the refrigerator, and all those same parts. The only thing you're missing is, the fiberglass walls.
Right. Well, and those walls are straight on a Trend, right, which makes hanging the cabinets easy.
Simpler,
sure. So the labor, it can be a lot higher on a van than it would be on a regular motor.
Okay, so it starts with the chassis itself, and then just the complexity of building inside the van body drives it up from there.
Right.
So there you go. All right.
Other owners things. Which one?
This one. What are the future possibilities for an all-electric Class B RV?
And that was from Tom. That was one of the questions that came
I guess
in.
first there has to be an all-electric van.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he means electric house or an electric chassis.
Well, let's answer both of them.
Let's answer both.
Yeah.
We should start with the house because that's more realistic or more, right?
Yeah, it's
well, yeah.
I mean,
well, it is. I mean, if you want, you can look at how you want to. In our industry, we'll call it an all-electric vehicle. Typically means it doesn't have propane on board. Right. So that's an all-electric vehicle. So a lot of our diesel pushers have gone that way. We're putting residential refrigerators in, inverters and things like that, bigger batteries, so that you don't have to run
kind of
propane.
ties back to the lithium.
Right. Well, it can, but the new. The Revel over there is really an all-electric vehicle.
It's just diesel, yes.
Yeah, you have the diesel that runs the engine.
Okay.
But all the house components, all the kind of the Winnebago ad is all either electric or runs off the diesel, so without propane. But I think the question probably isn't about that, right? It's probably more about when are we going to see, the Tesla,
the Tesla RV.
Yeah,
well, that would not be an expensive RV at all.
No, I think
that'd be downright affordable.
What's the future of that?
Yeah, I hope Mr. Musk is watching this. We're looking for that chassis. Absolutely. No, I mean it would be great, and I know that we'll be there someday. And but it is a complicated thing. People in an RV want to go farther than a car. Typically the range on the cars, is they were struggling to get 100 miles or 200 miles now. Maybe that wouldn't be satisfactory for an RV.
No, you want to go like 1,800 miles.
But, we're seeing some things. I mean, there was just a bunch of stuff, released a few weeks ago about the Tesla semi truck and all that stuff, which made it pretty interesting. So that's certainly something, we're doing more than just watching it, but it is a technology that's evolving. Just like we talked about before with the lithium battery, topic, and running and replacing a generator with lithium batteries. That's evolving quickly, and the systems that are available today are, much better, much more sophisticated than what was available 5 years ago or 3 years ago or even a year ago probably. So there's a lot of advancements being made. So that's certainly in the future, and I think I think we'll have it in our lifetime for sure. We'll have electric.
Incredible.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, well,
that will be.
I hope so.
All right. This question is interesting.
Which one?
Tammy from the Travato Owners Group asked, what's the most requested feature people ask for to be added?
Yeah.
To be added. Oh.
Well, I should have looked up everything that she sent to me and said that, I could have made some point. But no, we have a lot of variety of things, and I think one of them we talked about earlier was winter use, and and I think that's one of the first things that come to my mind is that people are always asking about, insulation, getting water pipes inside, being able to use an extended season, and that kind of ties into this whole off the grid, and it really isn't, like four-wheeling, which is, a
right, Revel could go four-wheeling.
That we're after as well, but just that idea that everybody wants that freedom. That's especially buying these compact coaches, which is what I'm involved with.
That's what it's about.
Is that's what people are really digging, is just getting going and not having the stress or not even the stress, but not even having the objective to go to campground. A lot of times they might be going to, the beach or the mountains or the desert.
Just a set of GPS coordinates.
Yeah, GPS coordinates, and some people, I think this might be true, but I think some people it's even just the idea of knowing that you can do that more
Having
than
that
actually doing it all the
flexibility.
time. Not every day that they're doing that, but just having that when they purchase the RV, say, that would be cool if I could do that with this coach.
If there is a zombie apocalypse,
yeah,
I can
I'm
take
ready.
my coach.
Yeah, which would be great. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people think about the zombie apocalypse. Yeah.
That'd be the Revel.
We should do
Maybe
it.
the Revel, yeah.
Yeah, we need to do more. But yeah, that's the big one. I know we hear a lot about, certainly about the lithium batteries. That's that's another big one that people
Those
ask
are the
for.
two big ones that we heard about when we asked the owners groups to winter friendly.
Yeah.
But I've been watching this live chat every once in a while. I've been looking in. I haven't seen everything you've written, but compressor fridge has come up a lot. People saying, ask them when.
Well, that's something that
compressor
even
fridge
I've noticed that you're dealing with, kind of along the same lines of when you redo a model. I mean, it seems like everything new that's coming out, you're going that way.
Yeah, we really kind of jumped in with both feet.
You're all in on the compressor fridge.
Yeah, we're all in on it. And so on the compact coaches, because it ties into that idea of trouble-free use and the freedom of not having to worry about your coach. So our idea is with the compressor fridge is that they're a lot simpler.
It's like the fridge at home.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about altitude. You don't have to worry about temperatures. Extreme temperatures can affect an LP system, whereas you don't have that. That going on with the compressor refrigerator. So just like your home, and they're pretty efficient.
Yeah.
And with the solar has become really goes along with that. We've really solar. When we've gone to compressor refrigerator, we're making solar standard on those coaches to help keep the batteries up. And then we're looking where we can afford to wait. We're actually putting bigger batteries into more batteries as well to go along with that.
So and that's something that you seem to be doing as you update a model or as you introduce a new one. They're all
absolutely.
coming out with compressor
So
fridges.
this year the View and the Navion are compressor refrigerators and standard with 200 watts of solar.
Okay.
That's right. We just did the review of the D.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a cool thing. You still add more if you want, and you have more room. We have the port on our vans, but there's not a lot of room up on top. You have all those things up there. You have to be pretty creative to add more solar. But using the Navions, you can put quite a bit up there if you want.
Well, maybe that's what we should do next is just go rig by rig, each of your rigs. So starting with the View Navion, and just tell us in general what's going on with the View Navion. You just had the D released, and that's
so you've got how many floor plans? Is it 4?
4 floor plans right now. The D, was our most recent release this past summer, and that's been a lot of fun. We do a lot of things, that's a big group of owners, very important group of owners to us. The Views and the Navions has been, kind of like, I wouldn't say, well, it's really like the bread and butter of Winnebago through through the tough times. It was, I really believe that View and Navion's sales were, critical to our survival as a company even. Through the 2008 period.
Really?
Yeah, it's a pretty important product, and we've led that market. We brought that product to the, in the United States, to North America. We are the, by far the biggest producer of motorhomes on the Sprinter chassis. So that's really part of our DNA. And the latest generation of the D series, or the D, was really fun because we had a lot of owners that bought in 2008 or 2006.
So they were ready.
Well, they're always telling me, Russ, I'm not going to buy it till I get a bigger freezer, or there's this thing or that, or the bed has got to be comfortable, but I want a big slide room, but I want a comfortable bed, and a lot of the full size slide rooms coaches didn't have that. So this coach, gives you the comfortable bed, gives you the big freezer, the compressor refrigerator. You have the benefit of having a dinette and a couch that you can use during the day.
That was what we picked up on.
The View D that we're talking about, just so people know, it's a really interesting compact C. It has a Murphy bed that pops down over the couch. You either have the couch or you have the Murphy bed, which frees up the dinette. A lot of these Murphy bed floor plans we see on the Class Cs,
the bed drops over the dinette and takes out the dinette.
You either have the bed or the dinette. That doesn't always work when there's two of you.
Right.
So we really like the D, what you've done with that.
So that so they're getting a little bit of love this year on the View and the Navion side, and we are working on a lot of things for the future for that segment too as well. It's going to be going to be fun going forward with that segment.
Yeah. So what about Travato? That's our we have a Travato G.
We do.
It's customized a bit, but we're still G
a bit
people. But what's going on in the Travato world? What can you tell us about Travato?
I can't really tell you too much about it, you
Really?
know. No, I mean, you
Well,
know
you got
everything.
the two models.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you what we have right now.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to,
Poke
squeeze
about new stuff?
squeeze some
I guess-
information out of me.
Well,
yeah.
I might have been, but we'll just talk about what you have now.
Yeah. No. We have the K and the G, and they both have really strong followers. You know, the one with the bed that folds up in the back and the little fixed dinette in the front meets the needs of a lot of people like yourselves who wouldn't even consider the other one because it doesn't have the fixed dinette. But then there's also a good segment of people who
Want
like
that open floor plan.
open floor plan and open feeling, and
That's
that's pretty
the K.
important. And the good sleeping there with the twin beds. Right now, I think the K has edged out the G a little bit on our
Really?
sales. Yeah, I'm sorry, G owners.
Oh man,
That-
we're
that we-
losing G people.
No. We're still selling a lot of G's.
Good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Good.
But the K has gotten, kind of, I think, hit a. It's very unique in our industry, and it kind of hit not a pain point, but it really solves
A yearning.
need.
Wow.
A yearning. It creates a need.
And I can
yeah.
see that. You walk into a Travato K and it's very bright and spacious. It has a feeling like it's so much bigger.
Yeah.
But it really is just for two people. That's the limiting factor. With our G, it actually sleeps four and has seatbelts for four. So it's more flexible.
Yeah.
But I see why the K is selling
It's
so
pretty.
well.
It's really unique though in our industry, and for most of our models, we don't typically have. Where we have equal floor plans. Usually one is just dominant and the other one is weaker. If we'll have 4 floor plans, one of those floor plans will be 50 or 60% of the sales, and then the other 3 will share the rest of it. That's
Really?
pretty common. But on the Travato, it's been
Pretty evenly
Close.
split.
pretty even Steven. Yeah, and I'm sure if you go back to the beginning, it's probably still a G. Because for a while that's all we had was a G. So the G probably has more owners overall.
And the Travato owners group on Facebook is just very tightly connected. K or G, we all are band under that. Even though our floor plans are very different, we still just.
But there's a little bit of
identify
that, like the in-state
Travato.
rivalry thing between
There
football teams.
There
is.
is.
Yeah,
But
There
it's
is.
like fun kind of rivalry.
It's a lot of fun.
All right, so and then next, I guess let's go with the Era. You've got 4 floor plans now.
Yes.
And that's on the Sprinter chassis.
Yes, on the Mercedes chassis, and that's kind of fits into a segment above the Travato.
More
and
glamorous.
a little bit, a little bit more luxurious. Not so, the Travato's a little bit more camper-like,
Right.
More
camper,
sporty, maybe.
sporty,
the Travato.
yeah. But certainly the Mercedes chassis is a fantastic, platform for an RV with a powerful 6-cylinder diesel and
Lots of cargo capacity.
Yeah, lots of, you have the 5,000 pounds of towing, and people like that flexibility. It's a little bit longer, a little bit taller than the Travato.
Yeah.
The Travato is actually a little bit wider than the Era, but that's a great product for us. And the new floor plan, the B floor plan, has really been well received.
Oh, speaking of the B floor plan,
Yes.
we're going to go with bison.
Oh, we picked our
the
animal.
animal.
Yeah.
Bison. Yeah.
As opposed to badger. You didn't really
No,
seem
I
to
didn't
like
like the badger. No,
Bison.
Yeah.
So the B
no
floor
offense,
plan
badger, but yeah.
has 6 seat. See, that's a 6-seat.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 seat belts and
Yeah.
sleeps 2 or 3 in that one. So that you could get a lot of people in there.
Yeah. It's a big bed in the back, but 3 would that sleep on that big bed? I think, yeah.
In the
There's only
Bison.
one bed in the Bison, but it's a good people hauler for when you need to. But it also has that fantastic galley area.
Yeah, the
and
long counter for cooking.
and the big
and-
compressor refrigerator
Yes.
and 200 watts of solar on the roof and all that. So that product really takes the Era in a little bit of a new direction. It makes it more, more camper friendly. So with the big refrigerator, the solar panels, and
More
the way that
storage
coach is laid out, it's meant to be cooked in, meant to be used.
Yeah.
As a not just driving from place to place.
There was like the X is really, it's almost
the X
more
is more of a people mover. Yeah, but it is. Yep, that's
And
the
the X
difference.
has one more seatbelt, but it's very similar to the B.
Yeah,
Other than that.
yeah, and then that's kind of the next generation Era. That you'll see all of the new changes that were introduced into that B. are now coming on the rest of the air floor plan.
So as each floor plan is
right,
refreshed,
they'll get the
upgrades.
dovetail
so
maple
kind of
drawers.
Dovetail drawers. And thank you for doing that, by the way. That's awesome.
I knew you'd like that.
Yeah.
I like it too. I like it.
Russ is also a bit of a
woodworker. A bit of a woodworker, yeah. I think the dovetail drawer boxes are
It's just
fun
got to
to
make you
have.
feel proud to put those in a coach.
Yeah, it was a good thing. I liked it, yeah.
Right on. I saw an interesting question. I think it's already scrolled off here. Is there any difference in the question was quality, but in anything else between Winnebago and Itasca?
No.
Okay, I mean all all your coaches are, well, I guess Navions.
Yeah, we're Winnebago, pretty much across the board in the Class Bs. We have the Navion and the View, and they're identical products now. In the past there was ups and downs of one was a little bit more contemporary, and the other one was more conservative, traditional. That's all in the interest of maintaining better quality, standardization, and we've kind of commonized on a design that we use for both products. And it's just right now it's just a matter of different dealers. So in major market areas, we'll have
back to those dealer franchises.
Yeah, well, the dealers, and especially in the case of the Navion, it's such a popular brand, such a popular, very, it's been one of the strongest brands that we've had. Navion sales alone probably exceed most of the competitors for their models, so we're not going to get rid of that great brand. And there's a lot of people, I just heard it yesterday that a customer says, he said, I'm not buying a View. He said, I want a Navion. So they're the same thing. No, I want a Navion. Well, you're the customer. We'll get you a Navion. So, I mean, that's a real thing. So, I don't see that name going away or that brand. Yeah, that's a cool name, too. I like it, yeah.
Navion, it's a nice name.
Yeah.
Well, we should talk about the Paseo. And,
we kind of mentioned that a little earlier.
About the Paseo, but that is another one of your products, and that's it. Well, and then the Revel, of course.
Yeah, the new Revel. With both the Revel has one floor plan, but I also see emails coming in already. Where's the second floor plan for that one?
Whoa,
so,
really?
Yeah, but
wow. That'd
so,
be tough to come up with another floor.
Well,
plan
it would.
It's
it's pretty unique in that size that to keep everything in that.
But
place.
you do have here at the show. We saw the other color.
Yeah.
Like previously, we saw it at Pomona and at the
Pebble Gray.
Yeah,
Pebble Gray.
I want you to start calling it dirt. I'm really trying to make that stick.
I probably won't do that. Yeah,
that's probably a marketing
disaster. Won't let me.
Marketing faux pas.
I see them over there saying no, it's not going to happen. No.
Well, we did have a question from Scott. I'm seeing here, just wondering why you chose the safety options that you did on the Revel cab. Like, there's other ones available like lane assist and
how do you pick what do you order on the cab?
So that's a new one. That's a hard one. You were going to warn me about the hard one.
I know, sorry. That just came in.
I know. So it is. A lot of it is just price point that we look at, and then we try to look at what are the certainly we don't want to leave safety features out that we're going to help a person. So we look carefully at those features, but we want to maintain some consistency among our products, so our Sprinter chassis are kind of ordered a certain way. That doesn't mean we won't be going other directions with that. We have most of our products on the Sprinter chassis. We offer the Mobileye system that provides most of those things that you can get through the Mercedes safety upgrades. But this does come because it does come with all of the airbags in the cab.
Right.
So you've got the 6 airbags in the Revel, and that's driven by U.S. laws.
Oh, is the Revel under 10,000?
It's under 10,000 pounds.
Okay. So
that's
you'll
why
have a TPMS in the Revel,
why it's
and
got
I'm
a
guessing
little bit,
too.
Yeah, they should have that.
I think that's because we have it. So.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's probably preliminary, but what about any new floor plans for the Revel? Is that just way in the?
That's way in the future. Yeah, we've got
anything's possible.
Well,
I guess.
I think there's the people would like us to ship the Revels that they've ordered so far. So first, before you start working on a new floor plan, but someday it's possible. We've been really grateful and impressed with the response to the Revel.
Yeah.
Been beyond anything that we were expecting. So we expect and what we want that to do is to really to expand, our customer base, to bring new people into the Winnebago family. And
that's certainly getting a different kind of RVer altogether.
Right. And that's, we want to, provide the products that can help people, enjoy the outdoors in different ways. And that's, for us, I think that's just a perfect niche for the company that we want to be, in the future. And so
and
we're happy with that.
I had seen some questions come in earlier, I can't remember who it was from, about what is Winnebago doing to reach out to younger RVers, and maybe that would be the Revel, or do you have a different
well, the Revel certainly, is appealing to younger RVers. I think if we could just get those people to have more money, it would be more appealing.
Well, but there's the intent, which isn't in your line, but Winnebago has more cost.
That's a very affordable.
No, we have.
Is that it right there?
Yeah. So
you see it behind us?
Stuff.
And we have some tremendous things happening on the towable side as well. To bring people into our marketplace. Some really cool. I think you probably saw those with the military look or the camo look, or the bright colors and the modern interiors. So
in the towables.
So that's affordable. That's an entry point where people can get into our brand and experience Winnebago quality and lifestyle, and hopefully eventually move up to the motorized, or they'll probably go the other way, and some will go into the fifth wheels and the Grand Design product, which is also part of our family that provides that. But we definitely think that we have to continue to expand our horizons and appeal to younger buyers and as well as our traditional buyers. I want to the Travato and the van business has been very interesting. Historically, that's always been, believe it or not, it's been our oldest buyer.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's got to be changing.
No, not the Travato,
but
if you look back,
vans.
camper vans. So if in our industry, so if you look back, and originally when we launched Era, that was, people say, that's kind of targeted towards younger people, and we were looking at the data of the people that were buying it, and they were actually our oldest buyers. At the time.
Wow.
But that is actually changing.
Okay.
It's changing. Right now, I think the biggest segment is kind of what you would imagine. It's the people that are just pre-retirement or just recently retired. So that age, 60 to 65 is really growing fast. But the other thing that's fun with those products, that Travato is really driving that. There are some younger buyers buying in that segment. In people in their 40s, that kind of have built up a little bit of an income and can figure out a way to finance a product that's, they're not for the kind of the kid right out of high school, to purchase. But so there's a lot of younger buyers coming in. So that we see that growing a lot. We also see, which is really fun, we see a lot of women buying Travatos. So
solo women even.
Yeah,
solo
we have
women.
A lot of friends who are in Travatos that are solo women.
And so that's exciting to see that segment growing. And I think that's because the size and the user friendliness of the product. It makes it easy to get into for a first time buyer.
Easy to move around.
Yeah, it's not intimidating to drive and things like that for people that haven't driven big vehicles.
And the other thing is full timing has become such a huge thing in these vans.
Yeah, which is surprising.
That's growing.
Yeah, that's growing. I mean, I've been talking to some people this week even that still haven't really wrapped their arms around this change and the demographic that's happening. And they just talk about it like it's a fact. People buy a van to get from A to B and they sleep in a hotel.
No.
And that's not.
No.
Yeah,
if that was you,
and
Mr.
that's changing.
Dealer.
There are still people that do that.
Sure, there are.
But that's kind of the tradition. We had that, and we had kind of driving the van business for a long time was those customers with that kind of, and then also the kind of the retired engineer, that very detail oriented and wanted that. To get all these details of a van chassis, and so you probably fall into that.
Yeah, I hope to fall into the retired engineer category someday.
But that's changed a lot, and really these are just compact motorhomes as far as that we see it in the future.
Well, I'm with Arthur here. He wants a 4x4 Travato.
Yeah, don't we all?
As soon as Fiat makes one.
Yeah, so now there is no
no chassis. So
4x4.
You'll see. I guess I could just kind of clarify that for people that don't know that there is a chassis that's become available in the European market, and it's a third party that does the conversion.
Yes.
And they're converting a manual transmission 4-cylinder diesel platform to four-wheel drive. That's not available in North America, that platform, and it's very very complex and expensive to bring a new, with all of our emissions regulations and everything else, to bring a new platform. And I don't see, a lot of demand for manual transmissions. Although I'd like to have one. I think I don't mind them.
Really?
They're kind of fun. I like them. But I wouldn't mind if I could get a 4-wheel drive Travato.
Just part of the time. I like the way it drives too much.
Yeah.
Manual transmission. Now, when we were in Europe, I drove a manual Ducato-based RV, and that was fun. Once I got over the
terror of the narrow streets. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it'll never happen. Certainly we've seen a tremendous amount of enthusiasm and interest, and they're basically, Mercedes has seen a lot of very positive response to their 4-wheel drive platform.
Sure.
So we're hoping that in the future other chassis manufacturers will follow with something.
There's one more comment I've seen on here that I want to highlight, and then we're hit an hour, so we're going to call it. But pay James consulting fees for all of his modifications.
Well,
you like that one?
When's that coming?
I didn't see that on there. I think you misread that. I can't. Are we out of time now? Thank you, everybody.
Wait, I got one more thing. I want to know.
You
I
want
want to
one
know
too?
when is the compact Class C model going to happen that has a garage in the back for the bikes with a raised bed over it? When is
That's
Winnebago?
not on here either. That's not on the list.
It's not any list.
Okay. I've been bugging Russ about that for a while now.
We saw him in Europe.
We saw him in Europe. We want
Yeah,
one.
well, that is certainly something that's a valid question. Valid. That's a segment that in Europe has been driven a lot by their laws. About what size vehicle you can bring into a lot of the cities or in the downtown area and things like that. So that brought that development on, and that actually. It took off quite a bit in Europe, and then recently, like last year, we saw it subside a little bit, and
too bad.
and people are going back to the regular vans. But that doesn't mean that it's never in our future. I think
I'll hold out hope that I'll get my garage.
All right,
We're going to keep bugging Russ, but I think that's probably we should wrap up. So, Russ, thank you. I appreciate you spending all the time with us here.
It was great chatting
been
with
fun.
you, and thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.